Introduction. You are now setting out on one of the most transforming adventures of your life. Each result you achieve will change your view of yourself and of the world you were born into. With your new powers will come a responsibility to use them.
Preface.
Gotta go! Coming through!
No sweat.
Go, go, go!
Still in sight.
Plant the spike, Wings.
Pathetic.
Dizzy's up top.
One enemy remaining.
Spike planted. Thanks, Wings.
Team Ace.
Such trash.
Switching sides. Match point.
Pay attention. Might learn something.
We win. We survive.
I'm out of here! Gotta go! There.
Fully smoked.
Spike planted.
Bye-bye.
Be at peace. Healing you.
One enemy remaining.
Go, go, go! I will not die here.
Last player standing. Clutch. Switching sides. Overtime.
What will it be this time? Have any I'm outta patterns here. emerged yet? I'm out of here! Go, go, go!
Together. Fully smoked. Stim beacon here. Spike planted.
Gotta go!
Pathetic. Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted B.
Cállate.
One enemy
Spike,
remaining.
move. Watch out!
Blow him up, Mosh.
This way!
Last player standing.
Couldn't just be friends, huh?
Switching sides. Match point.
The enemy only looks composed. Their hearts tell a different story.
Go, go, go!
Embarrass them.
Gotta go!
Volley. Enemy spotted B. Now we're cooking. Down you go.
Spike planted. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
You had your fun. My turn.
One enemy remaining.
Resource.
Switching sides.
Part 1. It was many years ago. Hadleyburg was the most honest and upright town in all the region round about. It had kept that reputation unsmirched during 3 generations, and was prouder of it than of any other of its possessions. It was so proud of it, and so anxious to ensure its perpetuation, that it began to teach the principles of honest dealing to its babies in the cradle, and made the like teachings the staple of their culture thenceforward through all the years devoted to their education. Also, throughout the formative years, temptations were kept out of the way of the young people, so that their honesty could have every chance to harden and solidify, and become a part of their very bone. The neighboring towns were jealous of this honorable supremacy, and affected to sneer at Hadleyburg's pride in it, and call it vanity. But all the same, they were obliged to acknowledge that Hadleyburg was in reality an incorruptible town, and if pressed, they would also acknowledge that the mere fact that a young man hailed from Hadleyburg was all the recommendation he needed when he went forth from his natal town to seek for responsible employment. But at last, in the drift of time, Hadleyburg had the ill luck to offend a passing stranger, possibly without knowing it, certainly without caring, for Hadleyburg was sufficient unto itself, and cared not a rap for strangers or their opinions. Still, it would have been well to make an exception in this one's case, for he was a bitter man and revengeful. All through his wanderings during a whole year he kept his injury in mind, and gave all his leisure moments to trying to invent a compensating satisfaction for it. He contrived many plans, and all of them were good, but none of them was quite sweeping enough. The poorest of them would hurt a great many individuals, but what he wanted was a plan which would comprehend the entire town, and not let so much as one person escape unhurt. At last he had a fortunate idea, and when it fell into his brain it lit up his whole head with an evil joy. He began to form a plan at once, saying to himself, "That is the thing to do. I will corrupt the town." 6 months later he went to Hadleyburg, and arrived in a buggy at the house of the old cashier of the bank about 10 at night. He got a sack out of the buggy, shouldered it, and staggered with it through the cottage yard, and knocked at the door. A woman's voice said, "Come in," and he entered, and set his sack behind the stove in the parlor, saying politely to the old lady, who sat reading the Missionary Herald by the lamp, "Pray keep your seat, madam. I will not disturb you. There, now it is pretty well concealed. One would hardly know it was there. Can I see your husband a moment, madam?" "No, he was gone to Brixton, and might not return before morning." "Very well, madam, it is no matter. I merely wanted to leave that sack in his care to be delivered to the rightful owner when he shall be found. I am a stranger. He does not know me. I am merely passing through the town to-night to discharge a matter which has been long in my mind. My errand is now completed, and I go pleased and a little proud, and you will never see me again. There is a paper attached to the sack which will explain everything. Good night, madam." The old lady was afraid of the mysterious big stranger, and was glad to see him go. But her curiosity was roused, and she went straight to the sack and brought away the paper. It began as follows: "To be published, or the right man sought out by private inquiry, either will answer. This sack contains gold coin weighing 160 pounds 4 ounces." Mercy on us! And the door not locked! Mrs. Richards flew to it all in a tremble, and locked it, then pulled down the window-shades, and stood frightened, worried, and wondering if there was anything else she could do toward making herself and the money more safe. She listened a while for burglars, then surrendered to curiosity, and went back to the lamp and finished reading the paper. "I am a foreigner, and am presently going back to my own country, to remain there permanently. I am grateful to America for what I have received at her hands during my long stay under her flag, and to one of her citizens, a citizen of Hadleyburg, I am especially grateful for a great kindness done me a year or 2 ago. 2 great kindnesses, in fact. I will explain. I was a gambler. I say I was a ruined gambler. I arrived in this village at night, hungry and without a penny. I asked for help in the dark. I was ashamed to beg in the light. I begged of the right man. He gave me $20. That is to say, he gave me life, as I considered it. He also gave me fortune, for out of that money I have made myself rich at the gaming table. And finally, a remark which he made to me has remained with me to this day, and has at last conquered me, and in conquering has saved the remnant of my morals. I shall gamble no more. Now I have no idea who that man was, but I want him found, and I want him to have this money, to give away, throw away, or keep, as he pleases. It is merely my way of testifying my gratitude to him. If I could stay, I would find him myself. But no matter, he will be found. This is an honest town, an incorruptible town, and I know I can trust it without fear. This man can be identified by the remark which he made to me. I feel persuaded that he will remember it. And now my plan is this. If you prefer to conduct the inquiry privately, do so. Tell the contents of this present writing to any one who is likely to be the right man. If he shall answer, "I am the man, the remark I made was so and so," apply the test, to wit, open the sack, and in it you will find a sealed envelope containing that remark. If the remark mentioned by the candidate tallies with it, give him the money, and ask no further questions, for he is certainly the right man. But if you shall prefer a public inquiry, then publish this present writing in the local paper, with these instructions added, to wit, 30 days from now let the candidate appear at the town hall at 8 in the evening, Friday, and hand his remark in a sealed envelope to the Reverend Mr. Burgess, if he will be kind enough to act. And let Mr. Burgess there and then destroy the seals of the sack, open it, and see if the remark is correct. If correct, let the money be delivered, with my sincere gratitude to my benefactor thus identified. Mrs. Richards sat down, gently quivering with excitement, and was soon lost in thinkings after this pattern. What a strange thing it is, and what a fortune for that kind man who set his bread afloat upon the waters. If it had only been my husband that did it, for we are so poor, so old and poor. Then with a sigh, but it was not my Edward. No, it was not he that gave a stranger $20. It is a pity, too. I see it now. Then with a shudder, but it is gambler's money, the wages of sin. We couldn't take it. We couldn't touch it. I don't like to be near it. It seems a defilement. She moved to a farther chair. I wish Edward would come and take it to the bank. A burglar might come at any moment. It is dreadful to be here all alone with it. At 11 Mr. Richards arrived, and while his wife was saying, "I am so glad you've come," he was saying, "I'm so tired clear out. It is dreadful to be poor and have to make these dismal journeys at my time of life. Always at the grind, on a salary, another man's slave, and he sitting home in his slippers, rich and comfortable. I am so sorry for you, Edward, you know that. But be comforted. We have our livelihood. We have our good name." "Yes, Marian, that is everything. Don't mind my talk. It's just a moment's irritation and doesn't mean anything. Kiss me. There, it's all gone now, and I'm not complaining any more. What have you been getting? What's in the sack?" Then his wife told him the great secret. It dazed him for a moment, and then he said, "It weighs 160 pounds. Why, Mary, it's $40,000. Think of it! A whole fortune. Not 10 men in this village are worth that much. Give me the paper." He skimmed through it and said, "Isn't it an adventure? Why, it's a romance. It's like the impossible things one reads about in books and never sees in life." He was well stirred up now, cheerful, even gleeful. He tapped his old wife on the cheek and said humorously, "Why, we're rich, Mary, rich. All we've got to do is bury the money and burn the papers. If the gambler ever comes to inquire, we'll merely look coldly upon him and say, 'What is this nonsense you're talking? We've never heard of you and your sack gold before.' And then he would look foolish and in the meantime, while you're running on with your jokes, the money is still here, and it is fast getting along toward burglar time." True. Very well, what shall we do? Make the inquiry private? No, not that. It would spoil the romance. The public method is better. Think what a noise it will make. And it will make all the other towns jealous, for no stranger would trust such a thing to any town but Hadleyburg. And they know it. It's a great card for us. I must get to the printing office now, or I shall be too late. But stop, don't leave me here alone with it, Edward. But he was gone. For only a little while, however. Not far from his own house he met the editor, proprietor of the paper, and gave him the document, and said, "Here's a good thing for you, Cox. Put it in." "It may be too late, Mr. Richards, but I'll see." At home again, he and his wife sat down to talk the charming mystery over. They were in no condition for sleep. The first question was, who could the citizen have been who gave the stranger the $20? It seemed a simple one. Both answered it in the same breath. "Barclay Goodson." "Yes," said Richards, "he could have done it, and would have been like him. But there's not another in the town." "Everybody will grant that, Edward. Grant it privately, anyway. For 6 months now the village has been its own proper self once more. Honest, narrow, self-righteous, and stingy. It is what he always called it to the day of his death. Said it right out publicly, too." "Yes, and he was hated for it." "Oh, of course, but he didn't care. I reckon he was the best hated man among us, except the Reverend Burgess." "Well, Burgess deserves it. He will never get another congregation here. Mean as the town is, it knows how to estimate him. Edward, doesn't it seem odd that the stranger should appoint Burgess to deliver the money?" "Well, yes, it does. That is... Why so much that ising? Would you select him?" "Mary, maybe the stranger knows him better than this village does." "Much that would help Burgess." The husband seemed perplexed for an answer. The wife kept a steady eye upon him and waited. Finally Richard said, with the hesitancy of one who is making a statement which is likely to encounter doubt, "Mary, Burgess is not a bad man." His wife was certainly surprised. "Nonsense!" she exclaimed. "He is not a bad man, I know. The whole of his unpopularity had its foundation in that one thing, the thing that made so much noise." "That one thing, indeed! As if that one thing wasn't enough all by itself." "Plenty, plenty. Only he wasn't guilty of it." "How you talk! Not guilty of it? Everybody knows he was guilty." "Mary, I give you my word, he was innocent." "I can't believe it, and I don't. How do you know?" "It's a confession. I'm ashamed, but I will make it. I was the only man who knew he was innocent. I could have saved him. Well, you know how the town was wrought up. I hadn't the pluck to do it. It would have turned everybody against me. I felt mean, ever so mean, but I didn't dare. I hadn't the manliness to face that." Mary looked troubled, and for a while was silent. Then she said stammeringly, I don't think it would have done for—"
Gotta go! Enemy spotted B. Gotta go! Have one of these! Reloading. Healing you.
Going up.
I'm out of here!
Someone's B. Reload him. My ultimate's ready. Come on, let's go! Rainer's down. Someone's B.
Fight and pick! No peeking!
Last player standing.
Reyna is ready. Time to hunt. Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Gotta go!
Can I have a job?
Drop in a smoke.
Reload.
Someone's B.
They will cover.
Drop in a smoke.
Bridge key.
Going up.
Blindfold.
Coming through! Go, go, go! Watch out! Target down.
Refreshing.
One enemy remaining.
Not sorry. Wall raised. Spike planted. For you. You will not kill my allies!
Enemy spotted B.
Here! Catch! Enemy spotted B.
One enemy remaining.
I'll just let you think about that one, alright? Find the weakest link and kick him in the shin. Find the weakest link and kick.
Oh, shite, I lost a hit rock.
I'm out of here! Our spike down!
Spike down
Like
B.
I never left!
Got spike. Someone's mid. Careful now. That's done.
You blink!
Flash.
No peeking!
Last player standing. Spike down B. 30 seconds left.
I reckon I'll take a cap after this. I've earned it. Go, go! I'm out of here! Go, go, go!
player standing.
Almost out. I'm out of here.
Look your enemy in the eye. It helps with accuracy.
Go, go! Go, go!
Don't come down.
No peeking.
Still in sight. Enemy spotted B.
Come on, let's go.
Loading.
This way. Go, go, go.
Loaded.
Cyberberry. Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
I'm out of here. Running low. Go, go. Listen up. Kill them before they kill us. I'm out of here. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. We go. Go, go, go. Dropping smokes. I'm out of here. There. Reloading.
Going up.
Go, go, go. Oh, I'm pissed.
Last player standing. Spike down A.
Once more into battle. I'm not tired. Are you?
Reloading.
I'm out of here. Roll for initiative. Drop in a smoke.
Off your feet. Going up.
30 seconds left.
I know exactly where you are.
Last player standing. Spike down B. Ten seconds left. Last round before the switch.
Spend your cash. Don't look back. My ult is ready.
Need a drop.
For you to one mustn't, public opinion, one has to be so careful, so it was a difficult road, and she got mired, but after a little she got started again. It was a great pity, but why, we couldn't afford it, Edward. We couldn't indeed. Oh, I wouldn't have had you do it for anything. It would have lost us the goodwill of so many people, Mary, and then, what troubles me now is what he thinks of us, Edward. He doesn't suspect that I could have saved him. Oh, exclaimed the wife in a tone of relief. I'm glad of that. As long as he doesn't know that you could have saved him, well, that makes it a great deal better. Why, I might have known he didn't know, because he is always trying to be friendly with us, as little encouragement as we give him. More than once people have twitted me with it. There's the Wilsons and the Wilcoxes and the Harknesses. They take a mean pleasure in saying, "Your friend Burgess," because they know it pesters me. I wish he wouldn't persist in liking us so. I can't think why he keeps it up. I can explain it. It's another confession. When the thing was new and hot, and the town made a plan to ride him on a rail, my conscience hurt me so that I couldn't stand it, and I went privately and gave him notice, and he got out of town and stayed out till it was safe to come back. Edward, if the town had found it out— Don't! It scares me yet to think of it. I repented of it the minute it was done, and I was even afraid to tell you, lest your face might betray it to somebody. I didn't sleep any that night for worrying.
Selling a home that had been on the market for years without potential buyers, and other stories of prosperity and healing that border on being miracles. I know that these principles work. Their miraculous power is not based on a belief, it is a knowing. I know that we have a divine power that has gone untapped primarily because of our conditioning. I know that you can begin to manifest for yourself virtually anything that you're capable of conceiving if you practice these 9 principles studiously. Make an effort to listen to these principles and begin to apply them in your daily life without judging them based on what you have been conditioned to believe about yourself as a person who is, quote, only human, unquote, and therefore limited. What you desire is of central importance, though you may never before have even thought of desire and higher spiritual awareness as compatible concepts. Yet the process of creating begins first with a desire. Your desires, cultivated as seeds of potential on the path of spiritual awareness, can blossom in the form of the freedom to have these desires in peace and harmony with your world. Giving yourself permission to explore this path is allowing yourself the freedom to use your mind to create the precise material world that matches your inner world. That inner world is the catalyst for determining your physical world experiences. You will have to abandon the idea that you are powerless over the circumstances of your life. You will need to shift out of the group mentality that says you are incapable of manifesting. Examine the pressures and beliefs which reflect the thinking of your immediate family, your extended family, your community, your religious groupings, your ethnic grouping, your educational business groupings, or any of a multitude of specialized units of people. Determine the areas of your life that are jammed up with the teachings of those mindsets, causing your personal evolution to be slowed down because what you truly desire or believe is not getting any energy from your unique individuality. As you unplug your circuits from those external forces, you will see the speed of your evolvement increase drastically. If you hear a voice behind your eyeballs that says, "Move forward," you no longer wait for everyone else to make a move forward before you take your first step. When you cultivate the inner conviction to manifest from the world of the unseen into the material world, you understand that there is a universal God force that is in all things in the universe. There's not a separate God for each individual, each plant, each animal, each mineral. They are all one. The same God force that is within you and causes you to think and breathe is simultaneously in everyone and everything else as well. There is no place that it is not. Consequently, that which you perceive to be missing from your life also contains the same God force or universal intelligence that is within you. Manifesting then becomes doing nothing more than bringing into form a new aspect of yourself. You are not creating something from nothing. You're learning to align yourself with an aspect of your being that your senses have not known they could activate. You and that which you want to manifest into your life are one. As I wrote this book, I had the most peaceful experience of writing that I've ever enjoyed. What you are listening to right now is the result of these 9 principles. The key word I kept in mind as I wrote and allowed these principles to manifest through me was the word tight. That means to me no extraneous verbiage, no case studies, and a minimum of quotations. Each principle is explained in as straightforward a manner as I know how. Each came directly from my heart and not from my head. When I felt I had said what was needed to be said, and when I had provided specific suggestions for implementing the principles, I simply stopped. You are listening to the tightest handbook I know how to devise to teach the fundamental principles for spiritual manifestation. My internal knowing is that when you practice these 9 principles, you will be given guidance. You will not be alone on this journey, and you will see your desires manifest as your destiny in your daily life. Finally, you will know that your job is to say yes rather than how. I'm sending you all green lights. The first principle is called becoming aware of your highest self. Within you is a divine capacity to manifest and attract all that you need or desire. This is such a powerful statement that I suggest you listen to it over and over again and savor it before you begin this journey. Remember, within you is a divine capacity to manifest and attract all that you need or desire. Most of what we are taught to believe about our reality conflicts with this statement. I have a divine ability to manifest and attract what I need or desire. Becoming aware of your highest self does not happen through physical effort, nor can one rely solely upon supernatural techniques. What is essential is that you learn that you are both a physical body in a material world and a non-physical being who can gain access to a higher level. That higher level is within you and is reached through the stages of adult development. I present these stages with some degree of expertise because I've spent many years in each of them. They have been stepping stones to my awareness of my higher self. Each stage involved experiences that permitted me to move ahead in my thinking and my awareness. There are 4 stages of adult development. The first is called the athlete. The word athlete is intended as a description of the time in our adult lives when our primary identification is with our physical body and how it functions in our everyday world. This is the time when life seems impossible without a mirror and a steady stream of approval to make us feel secure. The stage of the athlete is the time in our adult development when we are almost completely identified with our performance, attractiveness, and achievements. Obviously, it is healthy to take good care of your body by treating it kindly and exercising and nourishing it in the best way your circumstances allow. Having pride in your physical appearance and enjoying compliments does not mean you are body fixated. However, if your daily activities revolve around a predetermined standard of performance and appearance, you are in the stage that I am calling here the athlete. The second stage is identified by the word the warrior. When we leave the athlete stage behind, we generally enter the stage of the warrior. This is the time when the ego dominates our lives and we feel compelled to conquer the world to demonstrate our superiority. My definition of ego is the idea that we have of ourselves as important and separate from everyone else. The ego-driven warrior objective is to subdue and defeat others in a race for the number 1 spot. During this stage, we are busy with goals and achievements in competition with others. This ego-dominated stage is full of anxiety and endless comparison of our successes. Trophies, awards, titles, and the accumulation of material objects record our achievements. The warrior is intensely concerned with the future and who might be in his way or interfere with his status. The third stage is identified by the term the statesperson. The statesperson stage of life is the time when we have tamed our ego and shifted our awareness. In this stage, we want to know what is important to the other person. We've begun to know that our primary purpose is to give rather than to get. The statesperson is still an achiever and quite often athletic. However, the inner drive is to serve others. Authentic freedom cannot be experienced until one learns to tame the ego and move out of self-absorption. When you can let go of your own thoughts about yourself and not think of you for a long period of time, that is when you become free. The statesperson stage of adulthood is about service and gratefulness for all that shows up in your life. At this level, you're very close to your highest self. The primary force in your life is no longer the desire to be the most powerful and attractive or to dominate and conquer. You have entered the realm of inner peace. It is always in the service of others, regardless of what you do or what your interests are, that you find the bliss you're seeking. There is one stage even higher than the statesperson, and this can be described by the word the spirit. When you enter this highest stage of life, regardless of your age or position, you recognize your truest essence, the highest self. When you know your highest self, you're on the way to becoming a co-creator of your entire world, learning to manage the circumstances of your life and participating with assurance in the act of creation. You become literally a manifester. The spirit stage of life is characterized by an awareness that this place called Earth is not your home. You know that you're not an athlete, a warrior, or even a statesperson, but that you are an infinite, limitless, immortal, universal, and eternal energy temporarily residing in a body. You know that nothing dies, and that everything is an energy that is constantly changing. This inner infinite energy is not just in you, it is in all things and all people who are alive now and have ever lived. You begin to know this intimately. When you reach this level, you're in the space I think of as being in this world, but not of this world. Most people think of the spiritual world as a future occurrence that they will know after death. Most of us have been taught that the highest self is something that you cannot know as long as you're trapped in a body. However, the spirit is now. It is in you in this moment, and the energy is not something that you will ultimately come to know, but is what you are here and now. The unseen energy that was once in Shakespeare or Picasso or Galileo or any human form is also available to all of us. That is because the spirit energy does not die, it simply changes form. It can't die because it has no boundaries, no beginnings, no ends, no physical characteristic that we call form. That energy is within you. Gaining the awareness that you have a higher self that is universal and eternal will lead you to gaining access to the world more freely and to participating in the act of creation or manifesting your heart's desire. There is something called the seen and the unseen. Consider for a moment the world of form that you see around you, including your body. Who is that invisible eye inside all of the tubes and bones and arteries and skin that are your physical form? To know yourself authentically, you must understand that everything that you notice around you was and is caused by something in the world of the unseen. That something is the world of the spirit. When you look at a giant oak tree, ask yourself what caused that tree to become what it is. It started from a tiny acorn. Your logical, rational mind says that there must be something resembling treeness within that acorn. But when you open the acorn, you find nothing resembling a tree. All you find is a mass of brown stuff. If you further examine the brown stuff, you will discover distinctly acornish molecules, then atoms and electrons, then subatomic particles, until finally you find that there are no particles, only waves of energy that mysteriously come and go. Your conclusion will be that the acorn and the tree itself have a creator that is unseen, immeasurable, and called by those of us who need to classify such things the spirit or soul. This unseen world that is the source of the world of the seen is also the cause of you. In the beginning is energy, energy that has no dimensions, energy that is not in the visible world. This is our original self. It is potentiality, not an object, a future pull, if you will. It is this world of the unseen that I would like you to consider as you listen to these words. Look around you now at the world of form. Then look within and realize that the world began in the unseen dimension. Then make the big leap to the awareness that you are both of these worlds simultaneously. You are not separate from the world of the unseen, any more than you could be separate from the world of the seen. You are a combination of both at all moments of your life. The problem that faces most of us in becoming manifestors and learning to manage the circumstances of our lives is that we have forfeited our ability to oscillate between the world of form and that unseen world. Have you been taught that the Creator is something outside yourself? If so, your inner world, the world of the unseen, is full of notions that prohibit you from participating in the creative process. When you overcome these notions, your unseen self will be your ticket to creation in your life. What you want to practice here really is transcending your conditioning. Whether you like it or not, all of us have been conditioned to think and act in ways that have become automatic. We need to figure out how to get past this conditioning if we want to gain access to our highest self. You can be sure the ego will not take well to this kind of an effort. Asking the ego to help diminish its own significance so that you might have access to your higher self is akin to attempting to stand on your own shoulders. Ego is as unable to move aside in deference to spirit as is your eye able to see itself, or the tip of your tongue able to touch the tip of your tongue. Your task thus becomes a quagmire of paradoxes. If you rely upon your ego to get past the influences of the ego, it will only strengthen its hold on you. You must figure out how to emancipate consciousness from the limitations of your mind and your body. In the ego state, you generally experience yourself as a separate entity. To move past this conditioning, you want to begin to see yourself as humanity rather than as a separate form in a body. Very simply put, if you feel that you are disconnected from the rest of humanity and truly a separate entity needing to prove yourself and compete with others, you will be unable to manifest your heart's desire. If you are able to see yourself as a part of what you desire, you will have transcended the conditioning of your ego and of all the other egos who have contributed to this process in your life. Here are a few of the conditioned thoughts that keep your ego in charge of your life and prevent you from materializing what you desire and what desires you. The first is called, I am not in charge of my life. That force is outside me. You can change this perception. Turn your attention away from the ego-dominated thoughts about the circumstances of your life to the present moment. By consciously noticing your breath, the sounds, textures, smells, and scenes that the life force is experiencing through you. A second conditioned thought says, people cannot manifest. It is all a function of the cosmic throw of the dice. It's all just luck. Well, blaming luck or some external invisible force that controls the universe is a habit of conditioning that leads to disempowerment and ultimately to defeat. You are the universe. It is not something outside you. You are that force which is in everything, even the things that have previously failed to show up in your life. Remember, as you think, so shall you be. If you think you can't, you're right, and that is precisely what you will see showing up in your life. A third conditioned response, or thought. I have tried before and it's never worked for me. Here the conditioned response is believing that once having tried and failed, further efforts will yield the same results. Let go of your obsession with the past and with trying, and instead remain relaxed and casual in the moment. Your past is an illusion. It is the trail that is left